This is Shuja Rabbani, and you are listening to the Pod Your Heart Out podcast. I believe that the right to work in a safe and healthy work environment is everyone's human right. A workplace where there is humanity in human resources and a place where leadership leads by example. Join me in today's conversation if you see yourself as an advocate for that kind of workplace. Think about the time when you held your lowest paid job, or perhaps even a job that was paying at minimum wage. Last year, during the coronavirus pandemic in 2020, the UK had over 2 million people that were working below minimum wage. And good news as of 1st of April this year in 2021 is that minimum wage has been increased. The UK government sent out a press release earlier this month stating that the increase includes a 2.2% increase in national living wage, and that's going up to £8.91 per hour, which is the equivalent of more than £345 extra per year for someone who works full-time. Although 2020 pandemic was not very kind to anybody, just about people earning at any level of the organization at any pay grade, but it is without a doubt people at the lowest level of the pay grade, lower pay scales, entry-level jobs, minimum wage jobs where people were hit the hardest. But that's not bad news for everybody. It's great that the UK government has increased this, as little as it might be. I'm sure it's not, solving everybody's problems, but it is a change. And UK government is not the only one. There was additional news coming out of Saudi Arabia where they've implemented minimum wage increase for people over the age of 50. Now, in Saudi, the minimum wage has gone up from 3,000 Saudi riyals to an increase of 4,000 Saudi riyals for those above the age of 50. And that's roughly an increase of from $800 to just above $1,060 per month. Now, the thing is, not all countries provide unemployment benefits. So if you happen to be working in a part of the world, for example, the Middle East, you may need to really rely on any cash that you may have saved on your savings, any specific investments that you have made when rough times like what happened in the pandemic in 2020 hit. So if you happen to find yourself in a position where you've suddenly lost your job, you would have to really immediately jump on board and find another job, or make sure that you have enough savings that you are able to survive on in order to buy yourself enough time until you get the next job. When I was putting this podcast together for this specific episode, I was looking for any data that I could find in relation to private unemployment insurance. I couldn't find much information around whether there has been any hike in applications for private insurance since the pandemic has started, because a lot of people have been losing their jobs, and many people especially people who were living paycheck to paycheck, or people with a lot of loans, they really were stuck in the rut after losing their jobs. Now, those of you who may be interested, just a couple of things to bear in mind. Private unemployment insurance, you will need to pay regular premiums. So unless you have a lot of cash stacked up somewhere, you've done proper savings in the event of a rainy day, you would need to continue paying the premium. It usually covers up to 50% of your salary. Depends on whether you come from a country which taxes or not. So those things you'll need to check locally within the country and the region of the world that you're living in. But I think that's something that a lot of the people who found themselves stuck in a very difficult financial position as a result of losing their jobs during the pandemic, it's something they might be considering for the future, instead of just relying on their savings and tapping into any of investments that they may have held on to for many, many years. It would be such a waste to see all of that go because of a job loss. I'd love to hear from you now to see whether you are someone who was living paycheck to paycheck and was severely impacted by a job loss during the pandemic, or whether you were someone who had saved up enough money to be able to survive a time like this. Now, I don't think anything could have prepared anybody for what we came across with in 2020 in the coronavirus pandemic. But if you happen to have any strategies or anything that you faced, the issues that you faced, how you resolved them, any tips that you might have for people to to keep in mind, should hopefully never, but in the event that, people still will always face job losses, that's still a likelihood, but hopefully never face any other pandemic in our lifetimes anytime soon. So please feel free to pod your heart out. You can always write to me on info@podyourheartout.com and visit www.podyourheartout.com. Thank you for listening. Until next time, I look forward to hearing from you.